The month of December is on average Denver's coldest month of the year. With an average temperature of 30 degrees, it's just a little colder than January's average of 30.7 degrees. So we have the first month of winter with a 30-degree average. Right now we're at 34.3 degrees. There are still a couple of pretty cold days left that'll probably get our average down to about 34 degrees, but that's still a full 4 degrees warmer than average. That would make it the warmest December in 9 years for Denver. Most areas along the Front Range will also finish warmer than average. Those warm temps are expected to spill over into the beginning of 2020. With the warmest New Year's Eve in 6 years, and a high temp above 50 degrees on New Year's Day would be the first in 10 years. Some spots in the mountain valleys are running colder than average, thanks to extremely low temperatures like these this morning. -26 in Kremling, -26 in Gunnison, -26 in Alamosa. Each one of those locations will finish the month below their average. On the western slope, places like Durango, Montrose, and Grand Junction will finish their month way warmer than average. The state forecast for the rest of the winter has a 33% chance for the southwestern part of Colorado to have warmer than average temperatures, but there is no longer a strong warm signal for the rest of the state. Equal chances there to go above or below. Meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen, 9 News.